Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I don't know if it has a name, but I would either call it a side flap or double side flap card. You open this little bit and then you open that little bit. Okay, so you've got plenty of time, space for sentiments and your greeting. And there's a little magnet there to keep that bit closed. Obviously, because this is just a single sheet of cardstock, the card won't stand up by itself. So what I've done is I've added this onto the back of it so that it's easy to stand up. Okay, so the card that I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the same colours, except I'm going to change that sheet there with that one, and I am going to use this on there, which I think goes well. This one I had made to go onto here, but when I put it like that I thought, no, that doesn't work. So I did that one and did it, so I was left with this. So long story short, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be using this one. So let me tell you the cardstock you're going to be needing. There are loads of pieces, so I'm not going to give the metric measurements now, but I will put them in the box below. Right, so let me see. Do this hopefully without confusing you. Right, so that's the way the card is going to be going. Right, I've got a spare bit of card here. I'm going to do this in 3 sections. Unfortunately, I haven't written in my book in 3 sections, but when I put it in the box below, it will be. Okay, so this piece here is one section, that piece is another section, and that is the 3rd section. That one's actually on its own. But that's how I'm going to be doing this. So we do the base unit first, and this is a piece of Pool Party, which is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/4 inches, Whisper White, which is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and Designer Series paper. This is Parisian Blossoms, and this is 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches. For this narrow flap, you need a piece of Pool Party that measures 1 1/2 inches by 3 1/8 inches and scored at 1 inch. Okay, so I've done that bit. And then you need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 3 1/8 inches by 1 1/4 inches, and some Designer Series paper, which measures 3 inches by 1/8 of an inch. Now, do be careful when you're using this Designer Series paper, because on some of the designs there is writing on there. Okay, if I can show you this bit, the writing is just about there, so it would be very easy to get your design upside down. I hope you can see that. I can't tip it too much, otherwise the silver's going to get caught in the light. Okay, so you do need to be careful to make sure you get them up the right way. So there's that one. Now for the centre, the medium flap, you need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 4 3/8 inches by 4 3/8 inches and scored at 1 inch. So you're going to have like that. Okay. And then you're going to have a piece of Pool Party, which measures 3 1/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And then you're going to have some Designer Series paper, again, Parisian Blossoms. And this measures 3 inches by 4 inches. So that's the 3 sections. And then this is a piece for inside the card. And this is 2 5/8 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And then for the support, if you want the support on the back, that measures 2 1/8 inches by 5 inches, and I've used thick cardstock for this one. If you don't have any thick, I suggest you use our regular Whisper White and just adhere 2 pieces together. You'll need a scrap of Pool Party for the sentiment to layer on it, and you need a scrap of Whisper White for the actual sentiment, and also for other extra bits of decorating that you want. You may notice that on this one here, I've positioned these so that the flower is hidden here, but the leaves are visible. I don't think I'll bother about doing that next time. I'll just leave it clear up there, but I will leave that one there. So that's that. Oh, I've got 2 bits of scrap. Now, for this, what I have done is I did my design and I haven't popped all those bits out. Let's just get rid of those. Okay, and I just die cut. These again are thick cardstock, and I use 3 of these on the back of my image. So if you're using regular Whisper White, I would say you need 4, possibly 5, depends how you feel about it. So what I did, I die cut the plain ones and then I adhered this one on top, because when you do, I think I've got one, or would I do the other one? I know that I've got a spare one here somewhere that is waiting for me to do. Oh, this one. On the back of it, obviously, the ink comes through, so if you put those on the back, then that will cover all of that up. Plus the fact, it does make it really stable for the bits that are coming over the top. Okay. And if these, I cut mine differently from what I'm going to tell you. If you cut these 4 1/8 of an inch, let me just get a complete sheet of A4. Okay, this is to help you get the most out of your cardstock. I'm going to tell you 4 1/8 by 4 and which piece am I? Oh, the scraps, isn't it? Right, so I'm going to tell you to do 4 1/8 by 4 3/4, which means if you're using A4, if you come along here and take 4 3/4 and then cut that in 4 1/8, so you get 2 pieces, it will allow you enough to get there so you can have 4 pieces out of 1 sheet. And once you've got 4 1/8, with the die that die cuts this, you can actually get 2 for the backing out of 1 sheet. Okay, so whether you're using regular Whisper White or the thick cardstock, if you do the 4 1/8 inches by 4 3/4 inches, you'll get 2 out of each sheet. Okay, minimum wastage. That's what we all like, I think. So I have 2 pieces. Do I need anything else? I think that's about it, isn't it? I've done the support, I've done those bits, scraps. Yeah, okay. Obviously, as I was building this up, I was writing things down, and I finished up with it very much out of order. But it will be logical in the box below, and with the metric measurements. So first of all, I think we're going to adhere the 3 layers together first. What do we need? So that's that one, and that's that one. But we're not going to adhere those 2 onto that yet. Right, so I'm going to use Tombow. You can use whatever your favourite adhesive is. I'd have to remember which way is the right way for this one, because it has writing on it. Obviously, no mistake in that one. So that's that one done. Let's do these. And with your score lines, do make sure that they are really nice and crisp. I've written on there scored so that I wouldn't forget to tell you when I was telling you sizes. And I've put it in a position where I don't have to worry about removing it, because that's going to be glued out of sight. once I finish the video, I've got another one to show you that I've already done, which I think is a masculine one. And then this one, just check the writing. I don't think that was straight after all, but that's okay. And this one is going to be that side. Okay, so the fold on the small band is on your left hand side, and on the big panel it's on the right hand side. This card is easy, but it does take a bit of thinking about. And then I'm going to put this one on. It's amazing how different this card looked when I put the blue flowers on, and there was a blue designer series paper on the panel where this one's going now. It just didn't look right at all. But since I put this one under there, it went brilliantly. Okay, so that's going to be adhered like that, that's going to be adhered like that. I don't think I've really folded that one down, did I? Right, so let us put these three together. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, make sure my design is up the right way. Hold on. Oh yes. Okay, so that should be like that. That's got to go on like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over, and again I'm going to be using my grid paper to help me get this in the centre. So what I'm going to do is, as you know, my centre line there is on 8, because I know you can't see the 8 down here. Can you? You may just be able to see that line. But if you follow what I'm doing up there, I'm lining this at, oh that's right, okay. So if you imagine this is 8 inches, this one is lining up on 5 1/4, and this one's lining up on 10 3/4. So all I need to do now is get that in the centre there, and what I do is I just count up the squares here. So I've got 1 2 3 there, 1 2 3 there, so that would be absolutely spot on. So open that up. Don't put the glue too close to your scored line in case it leaks through to the front. Okay, so that's there. And then I'm going to turn it the other way so that I can put this one on, and I'm going to do the same sort of thing. Okay, so close that down, line this back up again, 5 1/4 and 10 3/4. Make sure I keep that straight. Yep, that's straight. Make sure that's straight. And now this time I'm looking at how many squares there are on this side. So that's got to go down an absolute tad there. Yep, that looks good to me. So what I'm going to do now is keep this still, and I'm going to put glue on this one. If you have a good eye for eyeballing these things, by all means go for it. You know me and straight lines. I need all the help I can get. So there we go, that's that. Alright, nice and easy. So can we put this on here now? I think we can, can't we? Yes. Okay, let's put this bit on. Then we can concentrate on the images and the rest of it. Okay, so that's my writing being covered up there. No need to worry about that. I've got a nice new Tombow today, so there won't be any messing about with that. Okay, so just place that in the centre. Okay, right, now we need to make one of these. This, I'm going to do that flower, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. Right, I used the smoky slate ink to stamp my image. In fact, if I've got another piece here, I might stamp some of the others while I'm doing my stamping. Oh yeah, might as well do the sentiment as well, mightn't I? Okay, so there's this. I'm not going to colour all of this in front of you. It would take far, far too long. But I will show you how I do all the different pieces of it. Isn't that beautiful? I think this stamp set is absolutely stunning. Right, I don't need more of that. Do I need that in grey? Yes, I do. So I think I'll do 2 leaves and 2 flowers. And then the sentiment. The sentiment that I'm using is the Happy Birthday, and the stamp set is Botanical Bliss, and this is what I'm using. And let me just show you the stamp set for the blossoms, Forever Blossoms. This is the one that I'm using, and that double leaf and the single flower there. Okay. The Forever Blossoms has some dies called Cherry Blossoms, and that is this set here. Okay, so we'll be using this one, that one, and that one. So let's get those out while I'm talking about it. And we will also be using number 1 of the layering ovals, straight cut, and number 1 layering ovals, scalloped. So, any room left on there? Not really. There we go. And I think that's going to be all the stamping, isn't it? So that's ready for die cutting. Let's do some colouring. Now the colours I'm going to be using are blue. I'm not doing the petal pink. Right, so I have here dark Pool Party, light Pool Party. So that's the flowers. And for the leaves I am using dark mint macaroon and light mint macaroon. Okay, move that out of the way. So first of all, with the light Pool Party, I go over all the flowers first, the buds, and this is, as I say, just a light one. I'll do one bud, one flower and one set of leaves, and then I'll show you how I do the stems as well. I don't do this particularly precisely because it's my way of getting some shading in there. Okay. So then I take my dark and I just do some at the bottom of the buds and of the flowers. There's already shading in there. You could follow the bits that the artist put in when designing these flowers. And then to come back with the lighter Pool Party, just to blend them in. See, this is why I don't worry about not doing them totally thoroughly the first time round. It all adds to the blending. Okay, and that will go lighter as it dries. So that's all I'm doing on that one. On the leaves, I'm starting with the light macaroon, mint macaroon. So that one, and on these buds, they've got little leaves underneath there. Now I really don't worry about these because they're so tiny. I don't think even the tip end will deal with this. So that was light. We'll add a bit more colour to the depth. I just tend to follow the lines that are already there. And then go back with the light one to blend it in. And you should find that you've got a nice bit of shading on your leaves. Now what I do for the stems, I use my dark mint macaroon, and I use, not that end I don't, I use my pen end, but I use it very, very lightly, almost as if I'm trying to tickle the stems. I just want the stems to take up a little bit of the colour. So hopefully it won't go outside of the grey lines, which it will do if you press hard. If you just give the paper a little bit of time to grab the ink, then it will fill out nicely. Okay, so I just carry on my way through and colour. I will pretend that I finished that and I will die cut it so that I can show you how I add the other layers. I think that's... no, I didn't do these, did I? Let's go back again. Let's do my flowers first. I do have some already coloured and die cut over there, so I think I should be right. Again, just in the centre. I don't tend to go over the shaded bits. Occasionally I might be in the mood to, but as a general rule I wouldn't. Just trying to make sure I've got all the outside edges. There we go, that's that. And for the leaves, we start off light again. Don't you just love these blends for colouring? I think they're very forgiving. And then back to the light one again. So let's get our big shot up next. I was going to say, have I forgotten to put my magnets in? But no, I haven't, not yet. So that's can stay there. Let's move this out of the way. Let's come back into view a bit. So we need one of those. Has it's gone. Oh, you're moving about quite a bit, aren't you? Okay, I'll let you have your own way. This one is for this. Let's see if I can do it sideways here. If I can trim a bit off that, then I can put it in sideways. And if I separate the leaves from the flowers, if one wants to jump, it won't necessarily affect the other one. Right, now I have tried to work out if I can mark on here to say where the positioning is. I think that's right, isn't it? If I use this often enough, I'm going to recognise something that I can say, ah, I know what to look out for. At the moment, it's absolutely bypassing my brain. Let's just check that. Tip for you when you're lining up this particular one, try and get the stem part in first and then work the other ones around. That one looks okay. That looks alright. Have I got, yes I have got a couple of bits of post-it note here. You are determined to play up. I'll just pop that one back now. Well, that was an effort, wasn't it? Let's keep that one safe. So there's the leaves. Sentiment, that's okay. Flower, that's good. Save that one, it's got another one stamped on there. And the oval. Right, that's good. Now all we need to do are the large ones. So first of all this. In fact, I should have used my bigger one, shouldn't I? Because then I could have done two of this sheet. Never mind. Again, keep that stem in place while you're doing the rest of it. Use that one as your guide. So I'm going to use my post-it note again. That's it. Obviously I'm going to have to finish painting this one once I've put it all together. So there's that one. Now this is too narrow, I think, to get one of these out of it. Yeah. If you do what I recommend, you take your pieces and they are 4 1/8. The correct way to get these on to make sure you get 2 out of 1 is to put this right up to your edge, and the way to remember is to make sure the stem points outwards. So when you do that one, you put the stem pointing that way. Okay, and you're okay to go off very slightly because the cutting blade part of the die is actually in the middle of that metal bit. Okay, so I'm only going to cut one now. As you can see, I've got a little pile of them there. Okay, this piece is actually 4 1/4 rather than 4 1/8. So let's just push those little middle bits out. And then to show you what I mean, if I turn that round that way, then I can get another one. Bearing in mind this is an 1/8 of an inch wider. Okay, so it just helps you to save a little bit of paper. So I've finished with that, finished with everything now. So let's put all this away. So if I take this one first, the one that I've just done and 2 that I did earlier, and I'm going to layer them all together. In fact, let me take a scrap of paper in case I get a bit clumsy here. Ooh. Don't know where that all came from. So this is like a conveyor belt job for me. And what I do is I make sure I put glue round the edge, but leave a good... Come on, I said you were a new one. Oh, there we go. Just follow the outline around with your glue. Don't go too close to the edge though, because if it's coming out like mine, it's going to spread out when you put them on top of each other. But just make sure you don't leave any gaps. Just put a little bit in the middle there. Move that one up. The reason I do this as a conveyor belt is because when lining them all up, if you've got them all glued up at the same time, you've done it quickly so you haven't allowed it to get too dried, it's a lot easier to push them all into position in one go rather than keep doing one after the other. So that one's going to go on top of that one. That's going to go on top of that one. And that one's going to go on top of all of them. So I can pick them up and then just push them all together. Okay, nice and easy. And obviously they fit together brilliantly. Let's give them a push all over. So there we go, we've got a really good solid image there which isn't going to bend on your card. Okay, so that's my Blue Peter one. Here's one I made earlier. And what did I do with my card? Oh, here it is. So what I need now is to put this on here and then this one on the inside. And where's my... I didn't put the inside bit in, did I? No, where's my inside bit? Was that it? No. Did I tell you I had that piece? What size was it? That'll tell me. Inside the card, 2 5/8 by 4 1/4. Okay, just have to get another piece. Right. Excuse me a minute while I get my piece. That's definitely not long enough. That's not the right width either. What size did I say I needed? Inside the card is 2 5/8. No, that's 2 1/2. Okay. Two 5/8 by what? 4 1/4. Okay. 2 5/8. By 4 1/4. I probably used it actually, didn't I? I probably used it for my stamping. That'd be typical of me. But we don't worry about that, do we? Maybe when I watch the video, once it's all done, I'll get an idea of exactly what I did do. What I did, rather. So this is going to be adhered in here, and this bit I do just at eyeball. It's just got to be in the centre, so you've got the same gap all the way round, and so when you close that you can't see it. Which with a big piece like this, it can't be that difficult, can it? Let's find out. My position's okay. And I think that looks straight as well. I'm not going to check it with my ruler. So let's do this one first, because this is going to be the first magnet that we're going to put in. And the size of the magnet that I'm using is 1mm by 1 centimetre. Okay. I wouldn't go much smaller than that, because when you hear this clip closed, it's not a massive gripping noise. But then that's partly because it's under quite a few layers. Like this one is going to be centred here, and the magnet's going to be underneath. And if these magnets look a little bit grubby, it's because they've been used before. So what I'm going to do is eyeball that. So I've got the same sort of gap there, and I know it's about halfway through that level. So where my finger is where I'm going to put the magnet. Okay, so that's about centre. And then I'm going to pop this on top. This does need to be held for a little while because it's quite small in comparison to the size of the magnet. So you need to encourage it to adhere to your card. Okay, so make sure you're positioned in the centre again. I'll move that over a little bit. Right, so if I press those two bits down and those two bits, just give it a few minutes for Tombow to get grips to it. There we go. Hope that's straight. Yeah, I mean you can see the bump there, but I don't think it's too bad. Now the next one, you're going to pop on there. Oops. It will find its own place. It's going a bit high there, but that doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is just put some glue where it wants to go. And then I'm going to position my flowers. Okay, so that goes right over the top of it. Now, to make it easy to where I'm going to put my glue, what I'm going to do is get that into position where I want it. Don't allow it to move. Open this up and lay it down like that. Okay, so you haven't allowed that to move at all. Take a pencil and then draw a very faint line across there and a faint line across there. Okay, I've had to go across 3 pieces there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that line, but I'm going to draw another one underneath, because the one that I've just drawn while it was attached to that will be visible. So if I draw my own line, I know that I can take my glue right up to that line and it won't hurt if it actually goes over a bit. So that one, and that one. There we go. So I'm putting glue on my line, because if it spreads out a bit, it still wouldn't reach where I drew the original line when it was on the back of the flap. Okay, so go up to the line. That's better. On the line, up to the line, there we go. So now this should be very easy to pop on here. In fact, it's going into there. That's where my glue starts and it's down to there. Okay, so I've just made sure that that is going over. I've got no glue coming through here, so I can press that down. Okay, there we go. So the magnets work. Yes, I'm pleased with that. Made all the difference putting the petal pink piece there. So I said that I wanted to have one flower there, didn't I? And although these aren't really the right shape for curling, I do like to just curl them up a bit to give them a little bit of texture. And then I'm going to take the leaves, also curl them up a little bit, and I am going to glue them to where I want them on the flowers, something like that, and then I'm going to pop them on there. So Tombow, just round about there, somewhere across there, and on the stem. So there's that one, and I'm going to pop that up on one dimensional, which I think are here. Yes, I'll have a large one, and I'll place this so that it touches the leaf and also the flower. Not that Tombow's ever let me down. I remove that and then decide which way round I want this to go. I think like that. As I say, I'm not doing one there because, well, I just wasn't that happy with it on the other one. I have these here that I made earlier. I was testing colours actually. This one was light Pool Party and light Pool Party. That was light Pool Party and dark Pool Party. No idea what that one was. So if we could put one there and one there, they'd both be visible, which I don't want. So I could put one there. Oh, there we go, that's alright, I don't want one there. Okay, so can I bring that down a little bit? That's the important one really, to make sure that it's not showing through. In fact, I'm not really sure that I like those there. Maybe one, but then it should be that side. No, forget that. I'm not going to put that on. No, I'm happy with that. Okay, tell me ladies, should I put another one in there or should I leave it blank? I think I'll leave it blank. But I always pay attention to what you say. Don't always go along with what you say, but I do always pay attention. Right, so the only other bit we want to do is the support, and all you need to do, I told you the size, didn't I, which was 2.18 inches by 5 inches. Bring your trimmer back in again, and you just need to score from one corner diagonally down to the other corner. So if you pop that there, that there, each time you move it, check the other end again. There we go. Yep, that's good. So fold that. Give it a crease. There we go. Now if you did what I did and right on the top there, it would act as a reminder to you that that bit goes up there. Or you remember that the pointy bit comes down the bottom here. So what you need to do is push this, make sure that this is straight, and then line that so that's as close to the bottom as you can. Okay, so it'd be like that. So what you need to do next is just put some Tombow on the back of where you've done your writing. When I first started using this idea to support different things that I was making, the amount of times I adhered it the wrong way up. To me, logically, I want the straight line at the bottom there, but it doesn't work, trust me. Okay, so I'll put that there, make that straight. I think that needs to go across a bit. Let me lift it up just to make sure. Yep, I think that's alright, doesn't show from the bottom. No, that's okay. And there we go. Your card will stand up. Okay, so there we go, that's today's project. I hope you like it. I absolutely love the designer series paper, the Parisian blossoms, and also this stamp set, which is Forever Blossoms. Where's my other one gone? This one. Amazing, isn't it? This one goes beautifully with the blue at the back there, but the blue goes better with that. And the other one I said, a masculine one. This is the one where I found out that it really needed magnet in there. And unfortunately, I didn't think about layering the thick cardstock behind the Eiffel Tower. If I had thought about that, I would have put it on the outside and that on the inside. But I think that's a bit more masculine, don't you? Not really sure. I actually, on there, I could do Velcro, couldn't I? But that one's got a board on the back. That's a different size, actually. I was experimenting. That's 2 by 4 1/4. No, 4 1/2. But I don't think it matters what size you use here, as long as the tall one is a lot taller than the width. Okay, so there we go. If you have any comments to make, please leave them in the box below the video. To access the box, you need to be watching the video on YouTube, and then depending on what device you're watching on, like if you're on a laptop or a PC, you'll find that underneath the writing on the left hand side, it was about 3 rows of writing. I think it'll say show more. If you click on that, it'll open the box up. If you're on something like a mobile phone, you'll find an arrow, down arrow on the left hand side. Click that and it will open the box for you. And what you'll find in there is there'll be all the measurements in inches and metric. There'll be all the products that I've used, where you need to put score lines onto your cardstock as well, and all the products and the codes, and obviously a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down in the bottom right hand corner, and then click the bell to say that you do want notification. If you would like to have daily inspiration of a new card each day, please visit my website, which is www.janbcards.com. Most days there is a new card over there with description of how I've made it and any hints or tips. So head on over there, have a look, see if you like it. If you do, please subscribe. There's always the opportunity to unsubscribe if you decide that you're not very happy with it, but I don't think you will. I like my website, it's a good one, and I'm sure you will do too. That's my modesty showing through. And finally, yes, don't forget that we're going through celebration at the moment, which means for every £45 or €60 of your order, you get to choose a gift from the celebration catalogue, the brochure rather, and that's for every £45, €60 of your order. So if your order was, say, £135, you'd be able to choose 3 gifts. If you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator and you would like catalogues, please contact me. I'll be happy to mail them out to you. My email address is janb@janbcards.com. janbcards.com. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.